In 2007, the hometown hero, our hometown hero of Fayetteville, North Carolina, rapper J. Cole waited 3 hours in the rain to give his CD of beats and hooks to Jay-Z. He was denied. But 7 years later, his album, 2014 Forest Hills Drive, was triple platinum. And he's now the owner of a very successful label. And he was also, that same album was #1 on the billboards and still is in the top 100 today. Chadwick Boseman, who was born and raised in South Carolina before his battle with cancer. He was a part of 2 of the top 5 most grossing films of all time. And he also bought us The Land of Wakanda and the Black Panther, a South Carolinian. And that movie, Black Panther, has grossed over $1.3 billion today. And of course, I don't have to tell you much about the famous North Carolina kid from Laney High School who was cut from his varsity basketball team. But now today, that same guy, Michael Jordan, North Carolina native, is an NCAA champion, 6-time NBA champion, and 2-time Olympic champion and owner of the Charlotte Hornets. And today is day 1 of the Donnie Anthony Show. And speaking of Charlotte, right down the road from that Spectrum Center, where Michael Jordan owns that team, Charlotte Hornets is having a great season for the first time in a long time. You'll find Bank of America Stadium, the home of the Carolina Panthers. And we are a Carolina Panthers podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Donnie and Anthony Show. I'm Anthony Fan, my co-host, my brother, Donnie Bryant. Hey, we're finally here, live, ladies and gentlemen. How you feeling, man? Yeah.
Great soliloquy. Well,
Yeah.
There's not too much to be happy about with the current, but the future looks really, really good. So hoping we can build off on it. Hasn't been much to be happy about in 2021, Panthers wise, life wise, but we're here, baby.
For sure.
A lot to be proud of going forward, for sure.
Going forward, a lot to be proud of. We'll always be proud of the team, no matter what the result. But also, first and foremost, before we get started, I want to thank everybody that's already subscribed to the YouTube, liked us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and everything. We haven't even done anything yet. It's our first time doing something. We already have likes from my friends, your friends, my family, your family, and everything in between. People already supporting us. So, thank you for that.
Appreciate all the love and support early on, man. All the encouraging words. Everyone, man, I really appreciate it. Anthony and I definitely appreciate it. We're just looking to bring you guys good content. We're just happy to be here.
For sure. Yes. So what we'll talk about today is we'll have the season in review, the Cam's future with the team, Matt Rhule in year 3, some of our team needs, and we'll also talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So very first thing, season in review. How do you sum up this past season, Donnie? What are your quick thoughts on this?
Peep the big inhale and exhale. Well, the good thing is we're a very young team. There's some bright spots on both sides of the ball. A lot of missed opportunities. A lot of moments in which we could have been coached better, could execute it better. And I just think our youth is showing a little bit, but there's definitely going to be need to be some personnel changes, whether it be coaching and whether it be, on-field personnel that needs to be, assessed quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And quickly is what David Tepper talked about. You want to win now, win quick, and it's not really happening. But we'll get into it. But first, let's do a cap of what has happened this season. Our leader, our passing leader this year was Sam Darnold. We went and got him. He was 243 of 406 attempts. He passed for a total of a little bit over 2,500 yards, 9 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. And of course, the big story this year was Cam Newton and signing him a little bit past halfway of the season, right? If I recall correctly, his first start was against.
Yeah, I think it was like 9 or 10 weeks in. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I had to. All right, yeah.
So, and what he was able to come in and do, he did a little bit. Cam Newton, 69 of 126 for 684 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a total of 5 interceptions. So, we'll get into Cam a little bit later as well. Our rushing leader was Chuba Hubbard, his rookie. Was it rookie season?
Yes, sir. This is rookie season.
My mind slipped me a little bit there.
Yeah, this is rookie season.
Had a total of 172 attempts. This is all updated as well after this last game with Tampa that they just played. 612 yards total and about 3.5 average, a little bit below what I like. I like at least a 4 average, but he had a total of 5 touchdowns on the year. Christian hurt again this season. He was close behind him. He had a 442 yards, even with the little bit that he played this year, and just one touchdown on the year for rushing wise. Our receiving leader, DJ Moore, of course, he's going. I think he's the third Panther ever in franchise history to have 3 straight over 1,000 yards
Yes, sir.
receiving. So he had a total of 93 receptions, a little bit over 1,100 yards, 12.4 average. So every time he's catching the ball, he's getting a first down, seems like.
Yeah.
But he went up short a little bit on touchdowns. We had 4 touchdowns of the year. Robbie was close behind him with 469. I think a little bit over that because I don't think that was updated quite yet. But he had 5 touchdowns of the year on today. So those are our receiving leaders. The defensive side, the person who led our team in tackles, and he missed today's game with an ankle injury. Jeremy Chin is 107 total tackles. Shaq Thompson was closely behind him with 104. Of course, the defensive ends had a little bit of competition early between Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick. Hassan Reddick's been great for us. He led the team with 11 sacks total this year. And close behind him was, of course, Brian Burns. Let's see, Burns ended up having a total of 9 sacks. So it's just close to behind him. So they went for it. They went tit for tat, trying to get the leader to see who could do more. So, but both great players. We had a 3-way tie for interceptions at 2 apiece. Dante Jackson, Shaq Thompson, and Stephon Gilmore. Gilmore was a great signing. Hopefully he can stick around for sure. Even the little bit he played, same thing with him and Ken. They played just a little bit. They came in late and were able to make a little bit of an impact for us. So that's our that is our review of the season and everything that happened. So as you can see, there's some nice things there. DJ Moore being one of them, the bright spot. Hubbard even was able to step in and do some things with Christian out there.
Mm-hmm.
But the very first subject we're going to go ahead and do is the future of Cam. What is Cam's future, you think, Donnie? What would you do? What would you do, and what do you think it's going to be?
So what I would like to do is bring him back for an extra year. He shows some signs that he can still play. He can still do some of the things that he used to, be able to do. However, I don't think that that's going to happen due to, that not being Matt Rhule's guy. Obviously, Matt Rhule hasn't been too fond of him, just the way he's handled things and some of the things that he said. Typically when Cam plays bad, it's poor quarterback play. When Cam plays bad, when the offensive line plays bad, he blames Cam, and then when offensive line plays bad for Sam, he blames the offensive line. So, so honestly, if I had to predict, I don't think Cam will be back next season. However, if I could choose, I would bring him back. I think he still brings a nice dual threat component to the offense. He's actually able to move around a lot better. He knows how to make plays. He's an improviser. He hasn't been very accurate this season, but who could be accurate with probably 1 second of that to really just get through your first progression? He showed a lot of glimpses that he could still be a very productive quarterback in this league. Like I said, maybe not MVP caliber Cam. I mean, that was just a different specimen. I mean, that's 5 years ago. He was like 27. But not only does he bring those kind of things to this team, but he brings the morale, Prior to him coming in, I mean, we were a team and a franchise that was struggling to, put butts in seats, and we were struggling to, get things going. Like, this fan base was at kind of a stalemate. So I think bringing Cam brings a competitive aspect, increases our chances of winning, I think. And I think that it boosts the morale of the fan base and the players. I mean, the players loved it. They love it when Cam's around. And Cam's a great teammate. I know there's a lot of talk going around that Cam's all about him. You watch him today, you watch him in the past. I mean, he's one of the main guys over there with the iPad, with the quarterback's coach, trying to, check on Sam, showing him through those things. He's energetic. Yeah, absolutely energetic. People can say what they want to about Cam. That's fine. Me personally, with no bias intent, meaning when I say this, but Cam can still play because he can still play at this game. He can still be productive. Like I said, it's not going to be the whole 45 touchdown season. It might not be. I'll be realistic, but he can still be a productive quarterback in this league and for this team. And it gives us a really, really good chance to win. I just think it's unfortunate that this situation wasn't right, and I kind of thought that he would change things up a little bit. I didn't think he'd be the savior, lack of better terms, but just the situation has not been right for him. It hasn't been right for any quarterback, as you can see. Every quarterback has struggled. So my prediction, unfortunately, is that we will let Cam go, and I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely makes a difference. Why today he was not used, or even the last game, I'll never know. Especially there's a couple short, it was like 4th and short a couple times, and they sneak it with Sam Darnold when Cam is probably the greatest to ever do that when it comes to sneaking short stuff. Probably next to maybe Big Ben, maybe.
Absolutely.
I don't understand. It reminds me of the Seahawks when in the Super Bowl against the Patriots, and instead of going with Marshawn Lynch, they throw it, and it costs them dearly.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and I think not saying that not saying if Cam would have been chosen to do that instead, that we would have won or anything, but it's like, man. So, but that's how it is. So, and a lot of these decisions come from Matt Rhule, which is, brings me to my next topic. And here soon we will be taking phone calls if anyone wants to call in and say something. I'll put a number up here soon once we hit a couple of these topics. So now, before it was a question, Matt Rhule, year 3, will there be one? According to reports, Matt Rhule, there will be a year 3 of Matt Rhule in Carolina, going into his 3rd year out of his 7 that he was signed for. So, Matt Rhule, year 3, what do you expect of him, and what do you see coming?
Well, I expect for him, there's a report that came out today that apparently in order for him to retain his job, he needs to, hire a rock star offensive coordinator. And the candidates that I've seen, there's only one that kind of catch my eye. 2 have been fired from their head coaching jobs. So they're not saying that they don't have the capability, to coach at a high level on a, specific side of the ball. But, only one I know that makes the most sense is Kevin O'Connell, I think that's his last name, for offensive coordinator for the Rams. But my expectations are that he needs to come in on the hot seat. You can't come into year 3 in a $60 million contract, playing. Well, it's going to keep working. Just wait. No, this fan base is going to grow tired. I think this is our 4th consecutive losing season. I think we've been losing since 2018. This is our 4th consecutive losing season. I think, if I'm getting my math right. The fan base is getting tired of it. We're. I mean, every week, it's like today, clock management. I mean, we used 2 timeouts early on in the game. Matt Rhule needs to be better. Absolutely, first quarter. I expect Matt Rhule to come into this 3rd year, not in my eyes, he's a veteran coach. He's seen plenty in these 2 years. He's
Mhm.
seen a lot of veterans go in and out the door. I expect for him to make adjustments, and I expect for him to come in on the hot seat. You can't play save ball anymore. This is a $60 million contract. I want to see progression. Obviously, we won 5 games again this season. We won 5 games last season. What progression? In fact, I think, as I've told you many times in the conversations, we have regressed.
Yeah.
We have regressed with the talent that we have on both sides of the ball, and our inability to use these guys to their fullest potential has just been sad to watch, man. You see DJ Moore, he's played great, but there's been some, stutters this year in his play, Robbie's play, quarterback plays went up and down. But and another thing is I expect him to come in and make some adjustments at the offensive line position. You can't hire these guys who bounced around from team to team, switch positions. I need to see him make offensive line adjustments. I'm going to be very critical of Matt Rhule. I've been pretty vocal all season about us firing him, just because I think it's safe to say that we've regressed as a football team. We haven't got any better. But at the end of the day, it's my team. I'm going to love and support him, throughout whatever we do. But if Matt Rhule can make me eat crow, I'll happily eat it with no spoon, no fork. I'll eat it with both hands. Okay, that's how I'll do it. I'll do it. That's what I want. I want him to make me eat crow. But
exactly.
My expectations for him, I expect him as a coach and as a high value coach, as he's been paid, to come in and make big boy, top of the line adjustments, make, big coaching decisions, bring in the right personnel. Stop playing buddy with your Temple Baylor buddies. Okay, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It hasn't worked so far, right?
Hasn't worked. No.
And no, sir. So I expect and I pray that he comes in 2022 with a completely different mindset. Let's utilize the clock better. Let's get these guys motivated. Let's get out of the college mindset. This isn't college football, okay? So I expect him to come in on the hot seat, but I expect him to make adjustments, because I'm praying that Scott Fitter and David Tepper made it kind of clear that, hey, man, time's ticking, my friend. There's coach candidates out there. So that's my expectation, that he comes in on the hot seat and that he makes adjustments.
Do you think if the season goes the same way next season as it did this year, do you think halfway through Tepper gives him the boot, or he's let him finish out the whole season?
Absolutely not. Not with the fan base being as upset as as we are. We're all pretty upset. Even downtown Charlotte at basketball at the Hornets game, and you got fire rule chants going. This city, this has been a very football oriented city. You've had pros like Cam, Luke, Greg Olson, Steve Smith. Man, all the greats have come through this place. And when winning, even Greg Olson said it. When winning, this is one of the funnest places, funnest organizations to play for, and funnest cities to be in. So, I think maybe kind of like what we did with Ron. I think 7 games in, I think that's when he pulled the trigger and kind of got Ron out of there. I think that's when we should make that adjustment. If things go that bad, which I pray they don't. But if we're having the same problems around week 5 to week 7, we got to go.
Yeah. On the hot seat, Matt Rhule for sure, no matter what. And he should be banking on a couple people to help him out, including a offensive coordinator and the defensive side of the ball too. Defense got to look well. As at the end of the day, doesn't fall on Phil Snow, it'll probably fall on Matt, especially just how everything went. So that's year 3 will be happening for Matt Rhule, according to reports. So we'll see how that goes. Next thing, got a lot of needs on the team, and that leads to team needs. We do need offensive line is probably the biggest thing I can say. That's been crazy. So some of the team needs, team needs, Donnie. On the offensive side of the ball first, what are your top needs if you're
one thing that should jump out to any football fan, any Carolina Panthers fan, is the offensive line position. That should jump out right at you. When you're watching the game, that should pop out right back at you. Needs to be assessed.
Yeah.
Since we have not drafted an offensive lineman in the first round since 2008, which was Jeff Otall. I think that's the last time. It's been a very long time. I was in 4th grade when we drafted Jeff Otall. So I was a young man. He's a young man. We definitely need to go use that draft pick at the offensive line position. I'm hearing rumblings that Matt Rhule might go get either heard we're in love with Matt Corral, quarterback from Ole Miss, or Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh. But I think you put any quarterback behind an offensive line, they're going to struggle.
Yeah.
No one could possibly get through the progressions in the nick of time in order to get the ball off. That's just not going to happen. So I go offensive line first. Obviously, we're going to need to get a quarterback. I don't know what kind of quarterback is going to be really going to be available after our pick. It really depends on what we do with Christian. If we end up, shipping him off, because we don't have any draft cap. It's like I was telling you, round 1, and then we go straight to round 4. So we waiting for 2 rounds. So right now for me, I think we need to go offensive line, quarterback. Other than that, offense looks okay, but there's a lot to be addressed on the offensive line, though. Maybe the tackle position, not maybe, but you get what I'm saying. The tackle position, definitely. The guards have to be looked at, even the center possibly. Which I think we got a good one in Christian on the left side. We might move him down the left guard and get Neal from Alabama. I like that pick. On the defensive side of the ball, I think we need another a space eater. I don't know where we can get that. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on that. We need someone to play alongside of Derek Brown. When he's getting doubled, there's no penetration. We've been horrible against the run all season. Dallas kind of exploited us early on. I think we need to go get another safety, too, to play alongside of Jeremy Chin.
I agree.
I guess it's a safety. But my main thing on the side of the ball outside of that D tackle position would have to be linebacker. As some people know that we got rid of Denzel Perryman. He's now a Pro Bowler for the Las Vegas Raiders. We had a lot of trust coming in for Jermaine Carter. He's been, God forgive me, he's been a horrible linebacker for us. Right? He's been horrible. He doesn't make plays. He doesn't stand out on film. Shaq Thompson's kind of made, when Shaq Thompson was gone, you could tell Shaq Thompson was gone. I'll say that.
Yeah, all eyes are on you in Carolina when you're the linebacker because we've had such a history with great linebackers.
Absolutely, we've had a very rich history.
Dan Morgan, Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly, AJ Klein, John Beeson, all those linebackers. Shaq.
James Anderson. I don't know if anyone remembers James Anderson. James Anderson was good for us for a long time.
Sam Mills.
Absolutely.
The whole reason why we say keep pounding, the reason why it's in our jerseys.
Absolutely.
So when you're a linebacker in Carolina, you better play like a Panther.
Absolutely. And I was very critical of Shaq's play coming into. I think you and I both. I don't want to put you in there, but
both of us. Yes.
You and I. Hey, when you're sitting behind some of those guys for 5 years and you pick up nothing, it felt like. But now he's really come along. But I just think Jermaine Carter's just been a horrible linebacker that we've trusted so far. Jermaine Carter prior to this year, he was okay. He was one of those guys that you could plug in for certain, personnel or formations or schematic things. But he is struggling, and I think it wouldn't hurt for us to go get another linebacker. I think that's going to be something we need to look at. And if we intend to move on from Dante, we might have to go get another corner, man. So we might be right back into that cornerback carousel, whole jumble of mixed. I don't know. Can't think of a phrase. Can't think of anything witty. We will be back at square one with cornerback if we cannot get anyone to play alongside Dante. I mean, C.J. Henderson, he's still very young. He hardly played in his rookie season. So I'm going to give C.J. Henderson the pass. And he didn't play. When we first acquired him, he didn't play much. So I'm praying we can acquire Stephon Gilmore. He's happy to be home. And he's a Carolina guy. So I love to hear, man. He's a great ball player. But now it just really depends on what this offseason will look like. So
and his wife, I've seen Gilmore's wife on Twitter a couple times saying how much she loves Charlotte and doesn't want to leave. So,
man, I love Stephon Gilmore.
Happy wife, happy life. So stay in Charlotte, Gilmore.
I love Stephon, man. I hope he stays, man.
And you mentioned the safety position. We could be looking at 2 safeties or depending on what they do with Jeremy Chin. Jeremy Chin could be going to the linebacker position.
He could be coming down,
And that's how good he is. He's so good that he can play safety. He can play safety, run back, and everything. For some reason, we got a time limit on this soon here. So, but we'll figure that out. The next, the good, bad, and the ugly. Tell me what the good was, the bad was, and the ugly for you.
It's gonna be cliche, but the good is that I see that there's room to grow. This team has a lot of potential. That's the good. The good is, the youth. The youth can be coached. I think we have the youngest team in the NFL. We have the second-ranked defense. Second-ranked defense. That is the good. The good is that this defense is second-ranked. They have a lot of great ball players. My man Brian Burns.
Did I lose you, Donnie?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, sir. I'm here. Sorry, I'm getting a call. My bad.
Oh, it's all good.
Sorry about that.
It is a little crazy. There we go. We're back in there.
There we go. Yes, sir. Sorry about that, man.
Oh, there we go. I got you back. Hey,
all right. Yeah.
Try to turn your camera. I think it'll flip to the side there.
How's it, sir? Is it all right?
Still up and down. Yeah.
All right.
So you can't get that straighten up for you. For some reason, it's not rotating for you for some reason.
Gotcha. Okay, I think I fixed it.
There we go. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, good.
All good now.
Sorry, y'all. My apologies. I had to put on my D&D. I had to put on my Do Not Disturb. Sorry. I'm glad I did that. I'm pretty good at that. But the question was the good. Like I said, very young defense, second-ranked defense. A lot of young ballers on that side of the ball. Brian Burns, Son Riddick, if we could retain him. Jeremy Chin, love Jeremy Chin. He's one of my favorite players. Jeremy Chin and Brian Burns are like two of my favorite players on that side of the ball. Derek Brown's still pretty good. Just gotta get someone beside him. He's got to start taking games over. But another good is that the offense, we have some talent there. We just have to get an offensive line and a quarterback to utilize these talents that we have. So that's the good for me. The coaching hasn't been good because there isn't much good when you have 5 wins.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm talking future, purposes. So.
And you said good, bad, and what's the ugly? What's the just the most
bad.
Sorry, the bad, yeah.
My apologies. The bad. I'm gonna put bad and ugly together because everything's horrible as far as you can't put bad and ugly with this team and not have a bunch of things.
Yeah.
So, bad and the ugly. Matt Rhule's inability to prepare these guys to coach, or inability to coach these guys, prepare them for game time things. We did not make adjustments this year. We were very weak at the line of scrimmage, offensively and defensively. I think we have quarterback play wasn't very good on either, for either Sam or Cam. However, like you and I talked prior to getting on, it's very, very hard to, assess quarterback play when you have such horrible offensive line play, right? I mean, it all starts up front, both sides.
For sure.
So, but the most horrifying thing to me, not the coaching, not the quarterback play, but is the offensive line play. I think this is our worst offensive line I've seen as of recent. I mean, or in a long time in general. I mean, I can't think of a time where we have been unable to consistently move the ball, consistently been unable to just orchestrate the offense because we don't have enough time to do anything. We don't have no time to throw the ball. I mean, the running game looked okay today, but for the most part, I mean, things start to diminish as the game goes on because the offensive line starts to wear down because you're just not good enough, right? We got some bright spots on there. I think Christensen and Taylor Moton are our bright spots, and Deontay Brown. I've been really big on Deontay Brown. Those are the 3 bright spots that we need to see more of. Well, not Taylor Moton, but Deontay Brown and Brady Christensen. But coaching for me, lack of physicality, like I said, at the line of scrimmage on both sides. We just get dominated at the point of attack. Coaching that and man, just it's so tough to see the potential of this team diminish due to these unfortunate circumstances.
Yeah. And what's the worst thing for this year? It's got to be The O-line probably still.
O-line is the most horrifying thing. O-line, coaching, quarterback play.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So yeah, that's it. We have the way we're doing this podcast is through a Zoom, and it's got me at a time limit. I thought I would have a lot more time, so we'll have to change. We'll have to change that. So if we cut off, we'll come right back with a part two. Don't worry about that. I'll get that. I'll get that taken care of and fixed.
My apologies about my phone cutting off. I had a phone call, like I said.
It's all good, man. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media, our Facebook, the Donnie and Anthony Show. People have already done it. Twitter is at Don Ant Show. At the bottom of your screen, you see that. Instagram, at Don Ant Show, same as Twitter. And, of course, you're watching on YouTube now, the Donnie and Anthony Show.
I appreciate all the love as well. I'm just very, very humble and thankful for the love and support that we've gotten so far. So thank you.
For sure. So I think what we may have to do real quick is end this live. We'll come right back with a part 2 live. Stick with us. Let me fix this little issue we have because just the Zoom meeting is timed. I thought I already took care of that where we could have unlimited time, but I guess not. So let's fix that real quick. We'll come right back. I'll put the phone number up, and we will be able. You guys will be able to call in if you want to, and talk about whatever. Ask us something. Make a statement. And whichever. So hey, we'll be right back. Donnie and Anthony.